about Mark the Mark. So he decided he wanted to do a little video call with Sincera, but I don't know why he thought this was a good idea, because he decided to invite his mom over to his place because he wanted his mom to meet Sincera. But we saw how things ended with Sincera in the last episode. He decided it'd be a good idea to merge a call with Sincera and this other girl. And then Sincera found out she wasn't Mark's one and only. She got upset. And then there's a deleted scene on the wetv YouTube channel where she emailed Mark on JPay and told him to get lost, delete her on JPay, and never talk to her again. And then here this dude is inviting his mom over, bugging this girl again after she already told him to get lost. So Mark said he's convinced if he just goes into this being genuine with Sincera, that she's just going to forget everything he's ever did and just be cool with him. So then Sincera logged onto the video call and she didn't hold back. She said, all you are is a narcissistic piece of ish. And she was throwing one burn after another to Mark. She was straight putting him to the fire and roasting him. And it was genuinely coming from a place of hurt. You could tell deep down she was just really hurt. And Mark didn't even deny he was a narcissist. He just said, oh yeah? You know, my mom would probably agree with you. And Mark's mom is just sitting there in the background listening to Mark get roasted and take it. And she didn't even say anything because I think low-key she kind of felt what Sincera was spitting. So Mark tried to play dumb and say, well, what did I do? Was it me merging that call with Kirsten, or what was it? And then Sincera was like, yeah, you want to act like I just want to sit in prison and not get out when I've done everything possible to fight my case and get out sooner, but it hasn't worked, and here you are not being respectful. And when I tell you no, I don't want to sneak a vial of your jizz in the prison and shove it up my coochie to try to make a baby. And I'm pretty sure I've heard somewhere that that's really hard to do that way too, because cum isn't active for that long once it leaves the body unless it's properly stored. And putting it in a rubber glove or glass vial is not proper storage. So, I don't know. Like, Mark cannot take a hint if it was to save his life. It's like, dude, when she says no a million times, no means no. Read the room. Take a hit. And then Sincera said, to top it off, you didn't tell me anything about this Kirsten girl. You just caught me off guard and put me in an awkward situation and hurt my feelings. And Mark was like, oh, you thought we were exclusive? And Sincera said, well, duh. You're out here talking about trying to get me pregnant and this, that, and the third, but you got hoes in different area codes playing the field. And see, Mark needs to bring his friend from the first episode, his friend who had spent 10 years in prison, who is giving him pretty solid advice. He needs to bring him back in the mix, because I know he would be ripping Mark a new one watching him do all this. Like his friend said, these prisoners don't have anything going on, so these people on the outside are their whole lives and what they look forward to. And here's Sincera feeling like an idiot because Mark thinks this is all a game and not taking anyone's feelings into consideration. And I wish we would have got to see Sincera get out and see her with Mark face to face, because I know that would have been some grade A entertainment. She probably would have shot his couch up. She just seems spicy and like she don't take no bull, and she seems like one to throw a lamp or something at Mark when they get in a fight. And Mark should have just kept it a buck and told Sincera that he was also exploring other options, so Sincera could have made the decision if she wanted to accept that and continue on or not. Plus, you know, Sincera has to feel dumb doing this show because she agreed to do this show with Mark, thinking she was probably the only one, and now she's out here looking like a fool by dealing with this fool. Plus, her name will forever be associated with him when people do Google searches on her. Because when you Google search her name, 9 out of 10 search results are Sincera and Mark. Plus, Sincera said, I don't want to deal with you because you don't like to listen. You didn't listen to me or Kirsten, the other inmate, when we were explaining all the reasons why your idea of trying to get me pregnant was a terrible idea, and just kept coming up with more excuses of why it was okay instead of sitting back and listening to what they're trying to tell him. And I think Mark is probably headstrong and he thinks he knows it all, so he just seems like he almost tunes people out when they try to explain things to him. He seems like one of those people who thinks he already knows everything and is always right. That's just the vibe he gives me, and I've dated people like that in the past, and all I can say is never again. And Sincere said, you can't take a hint, and it's clear why you can't get laid or get a girlfriend. And Mark thought he could just sweet talk his way out of it by saying, well, it's too bad, you want me to back off because I thought you were attractive. Like this dude thinks that that's just going to make her forget everything and come running right back to Mark. And he's like, oh, and I like the coffee and the Kool-Aid, you use as makeup on your face. And Sincere was just like, bitch, please. Mark showed her who he really was, and she didn't need to see anything else. And then Mark said, well, I can't believe you want to throw all this away over one little phone call. And Sincere was like, look, you did that by being a little bugaboo. When I told you to leave me alone, you wouldn't back off. You wouldn't give me any space. You just kept going on and on like nothing happened. And then you kept adding me back when I kept deleting you and straight up harassing me when I kept telling you to back off. You're not respecting my boundaries and you're just doing too much. And then Mark said he can't believe that Sincere embarrassed him in front of his mom, but he needs to think Sincere feels embarrassed on national television by getting played by you on national TV. Like, you're not the only victim in this whole situation. And Mark really got what he deserved by not taking any of this serious. So Sincere, she didn't have any more words for Mark. She told him to butt out and she hung up on him. And Mark's mom agreed with Sincere. She said he looked like a total idiot and Sincere isn't playing and Mark's out here playing games. And his mom looked like she couldn't be any more disappointed. Sincere's out here looking for a special someone to be there, one and only, and she's not looking for a friend to just chat with that's talking to everybody else, for somebody who's for everybody. So Mark said he thinks the relationship with Sincere didn't work out because she was kind of volatile, but also said he knows he didn't manage the relationship properly. And his mom was like, look, you're trying to apply the things that made you successful in business to relationships, and I don't think that translates out very well. And I hope he actually takes his mother's advice. She said there's someone out there for everyone who's quirky and a little weird. Like, she straight called her son quirky and weird. But like he said, there, with your quirky and weird, you gotta find someone else who's just like you and accepting of you just the way you are. And then they showed him in a confessional, and his hair was sticking up so high, I thought he was married from There's Something About Mary in that scene when she accidentally puts jizz in her hair and it's sticking straight up. That's exactly who he reminded me in that confessional with his hair like that. So Mark isn't wasting any time trying to put himself back out there again. He said he's going to get right back to it. He said there's plenty of fish in the sea and he'll find someone eventually. He's not going to give up on the inmates. He still has Kirsten too, and his 2 other inmates he said he's talking to, so maybe he might move one of them up. Otherwise, it's time for Mark to go back to the drawing board and find another inmate to talk to. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Mark the Mark in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.